Once again, my name is Ronette, and my husband and I, we live in the Sacramento, California area. We have been entrepreneurs for many, many years. Here's the thing. I have been a licensed insurance professional for over 20 plus years. And I can tell you, when I got introduced to the information that you're going to see tonight, it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer for us. Now, to tell you a little bit more about our story, being in the insurance profession for 20 plus years, you know what happened in 2020? Things changed for a lot of professions. So in 2020 happened, we had the pandemic. And at that time, my husband and I, we had to make career choices of what we're going to do and how we're going to continue business as entrepreneurs. Well, we decided actually to venture off into other things, like we became full-time investors. And at that time, I was no longer doing insurance, although I had had a fruitful career and was really excited about helping people. But things had changed. So we went on to do other things. I retired from the profession. I tend to talk a little bit fast. I retired from the profession. Now, what happened was that a colleague and friend, she's been in the insurance profession for some time as well. She actually contacted me regarding this particular plan. And she did not approach my husband and myself with this plan for me to promote it as a consultant. She contacted us out of love to share with us what was available for us to help ourselves and the people around us. When she shared the details of this plan, we couldn't help but get started. And this is what I want you to know as I go through the information. This is a conversation that most people don't have, especially around the dinner table. Okay, most people have this conversation after the fact, after things have already happened and become more reactive rather than proactive. Tonight, I want to have a conversation with you that I think is very necessary, but I do not want you to think about it as doom and gloom. What I want you to think about it being a solution. See, we actually got excited about it. Why? Because today we have a peace of mind that we wanted. And today we have it. Why? Because of the information that I'm going to be sharing here. My husband and I, we took out the plan. And then later on, I called her back a very short time, about 5 days after she shared the information and said, wait a minute, how do I become a consultant? Because I knew that I wanted to share this, and as well as my husband, share this with the masses. So we decided to take this on to be able to share this with as many people as possible. Why? Because if it's a solution for us, it's a solution for many. And you will find it will be a solution for you as well. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about a funeral assistance plan. Once again, not something that's often talked about. As a matter of fact, not something that many people want to talk about. But you're going to see it's very necessary. Once again, it's not doom and gloom. It's not looking into the future saying something's going to happen to you right away. What it is a solution. It's a solution that you're going to see that you can take advantage of, that can put a protection around you and your family, so that in the event when that time does happen, you have a peace of mind like none other, your business is in order, and you can continue life as usual, but yet be prepared when something happens. Now, let's talk about today's price when it comes to funeral costs. One thing we know, funeral costs is at an all-time high. In the United States, it's between $8,000 and $12,000 for expenses. Now, if you look here, between 1913 and 2009, inflation has been on an average of 3.43%. With that being said, today we're in 2023. Let's just speed up to 2033, 10 years later. According to this, if inflation continues at that same rate, they're saying that funeral costs will be around $17,000. I want you to imagine right now, if something right now was to happen to your loved one, someone near and dear that you care about, and they had nothing, was not prepared, or you're going to find out even if they had something and they had to wait to get it, what financial situation would it put you in? Tonight, we're going to talk about a solution that now you can be ahead of the curve and make sure your family's taken care of. So I'm sure you can agree today's price won't be tomorrow's price. So as they continue to rise, you want to put yourself in around protection for you and your family. Now, why Assure for Life? We're talking about a company by the name of Assure for Life. Assure for Life has been around. They came to the United States in 2007 by the name of Protection Plenitude. That's the company's name. And the brand itself, the product's name is Assure for Life, okay? And they also are under the parent company of Grupo Plenitude. They have over 70 years of experience. So you're talking about a company that's leading the charge in this funeral assistance arena. More than 2,500 organizations make up the portfolio of clients throughout the United States, Latin America, and the Caribbean. And they do over 10,000 funerals every single year with high quality, okay? Now, let's talk about what is Assure for Life. Now, I want you to get excited because we're not talking about an insurance policy here. It's not insurance. As you know, when it comes to insurance, how insurance works, someone passes away, there's a beneficiary that's listed, and that beneficiary gets money, okay? Here, when someone passes away and they have this funeral assistance plan, there's not a person that gets money. The money goes directly to the mortuary 3 days after someone passes to cover the services. Amazing, right? So in other words, you have a ton of people out there who are not looking to, make their family rich or leave a ton of money when they pass away. You know what most people want? To not be a burden, to make sure at least their business taken care of. This secures that. So in the event someone passes away, the money goes immediately to the mortuary, takes care of the basic funeral services. Now, what would that do for your family? Provide a peace of mind and protection at the time of need. They also have a 24/7 emergency line, like a concierge service, that will advocate on your behalf. Why? Because guess what? When something happens, guess who's emotional? The family. And when you go to the mortuary, guess what happens? A lot of times they play on that emotion. You may have thought maybe you're going to walk out with a $10,000 funeral, it may end up being $15,000. Why? Because of emotions. So you have now concierge that will take over and advocate on your behalf to make sure those funerals, assistance, the funeral plan and charges are taken care of. It honors it will pay for basic funeral services, and it would transport the deceased within the United States, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico, and also take them back home if they choose to, the country of origin within the coverage area. And we'll go over that. Now, let's talk about here the coverage area. The coverage area itself is in the United States, all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and the unincorporated territory of Puerto Rico. It's also in Latin America. Only 3 countries that are not covered in Latin America. Everywhere else is covered in Latin America. And then in the Caribbean, 3 areas: Haiti, Jamaica, Dominican Republic. If you look to the left, you see they've been around since 1950. So you're talking about a strong, solid, stable company that's been doing this over the course of time. The leader in this space. Some companies have come and tried to do it, but guess what? They're the ones that made this space available, okay? Now, they came to the United States in 2007. If you're like me, especially being in the insurance industry, I'm like, well, why haven't I heard of this company? They've been here since 2007. Well, it's because when they came as an employee benefit. The company representatives will go out to the job sites, to the employer, where they would say, listen, supply this benefit for your employees and payroll deduct from their paycheck. So it was an employee benefit. But when COVID happened, they realized the need for the masses. You had an uproar in GoFundMe's, car washes, fundraisers. Why? Because the average person is not prepared for what could happen right now. So what happened? The company decided we need to do a major expansion for consultants out there so that this company can become a household name and we can make it available for the masses. And that's what they're doing right now. So you will be hearing about this more and more. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they're members of the Latin American Cemetery Association, as well as the Romanzo Funeral Homes Network. So they're documented. Now, let's talk about what happens when someone passes away. There's 3 different options at the time when someone passes away. At that time, when the remaining party calls the 800 number, the emergency line, there's 3 options. You have the option 1, that's the national. That's anyone who's in the United States and Puerto Rico will have those services, okay? That's offered. Option 2 is for someone who's in Latin America, Caribbean, that's in the United States, but want to go back home to Latin American or Caribbean. There's some people here say, listen, when I pass away, they let their family know, I want to go back to Jamaica. I want to go back to Mexico. This plan will be for them. Option 2, the return option. Option 3 are for people who already are in those countries, okay, in Latin American or Caribbean. Now, let's talk about the services in terms of what it provides. So this is the basic funeral services that is offered. It will transport the deceased to the local funeral provider anywhere in the United States or Puerto Rico. That's huge. Why? I don't know if you priced it out before that, but that's not cheap. Let's say someone's here and they say, listen, let's say they're here in California, that's where I am, but they desire to go back home to Texas. This plan will actually put the deceased on a plane and send that body back to Texas so they can have the funeral there. That's huge. How about those in other countries where we're located? If someone wanted to go back to Peru, Mexico, Venezuela, Haiti, guess what? The plan will actually send them back to their country of origin. That's included in this plan under the basic funeral expenses. How about preparation of the body? Basic viewing time, casket for viewing, funeral director fee, funeral guest book, prayer cards, a death certificate to take care of business, and the family would have the option if they want that person to be cremated with an urn or have a basic casket and a hearse to the cemetery. Now, as you can see here, cemetery charges are not covered once they get there in the United States, Washington, D.C., or Puerto Rico. In the other countries, it's covered. But here in the United States, not only is it expensive, it's not a part of the funeral services. Cemetery expenses are a total different service. This covers the basic funeral expenses. So if a person wanted to be buried, it will supply the casket and the hearse to the cemetery. It just doesn't take care of the dirt. Well, what does that mean? The bulk of the expenses are taken care of, okay? And what you will see is, if you look at statistics today, there's a rise in cremation. Most people are actually having services and going towards cremation. Why? Because expenses are getting out of hand. But this will cover the bulk of the expenses. Pretty cool. Now, let's talk about why our members are really excited. Because typically with insurance, and let me stop right there and say this is not to replace insurance. Insurance has its place, okay? It's not to replace insurance. It's either, if you have insurance, it's a great added benefit because it covers the gap, and I'll talk about that. But if you have nothing, it's really beautiful. Now, there are no medical exams. No one's going to poke you. You don't need to do a urine exam. You don't have to send, how they send the kits home and you send something back, a specimen back. You don't have to do any of that. There's no immigration status, okay? So with typical insurance, you have to have your paperwork in place or you cannot get covered. Guess what here? Doesn't matter. If you're here and you don't have the proper paperwork to be here, guess what? This plan will ask you no questions regarding that. How about territory limitations? Territorial limitations. Well, that means here, in our covered areas, we can actually be here. But guess what? If you're here and you have family over in Jamaica, if you have family over in Mexico, as long as the plan holder is in the United States, do you know you can cover your family in other countries where we're located? It's a beautiful thing. How about long wait for approval? I've seen life insurance take up to 2-3 months just to get approved, especially depending on the amount you're getting. Guess what here? Within 24 hours, you are approved. No cancellation fees, no background checks, no questions about, did your mom have diabetes? Does your family have heart disease? And they determine if you can get coverage based on that. None of that, no DMV checks. How about long applications? 10-minute application process, no credit checks, okay? That's how this plan works. It's really beautifully done. Now, keep in mind, There's a round trip plane ticket that the plan holder will get to be able to attend the funeral service of all members on the plan, wherever they're located within our coverage areas. That is big. Why? Because if someone passed away and they were in Venezuela and you're in the United States and you're the plan holder, they will give you a round trip ticket to attend that service. Now, the family plan, and we'll get to that, will cover up to 7 members on the plan, on one plan. The members has to be between the ages of 65 or younger, regardless of kinship. That is huge. Why? Because with insurance, there has to be an insurable interest in order for you to insure that person. Here, it's regardless of kinship. That's what makes it really, really, really nice. In addition to that, if you want to get coverage on someone who has not covered themselves, let me tell you what happened with us. True story. So the reason why we got excited about this plan, like I said, I've been in insurance over 20 years. For someone who's been in the industry for over 20 plus years, don't you think that we believe in life insurance? My husband and I both have life insurance, but we had people around us who didn't. I have a brother who didn't have it. Guess what? We don't know how it's going to play out, but if something happened to him before it happened to me, guess who would get the call? We would. How would that play out financially? We did not want to be responsible to immediately fork out thousands of dollars, like right away, right? So we had always wanted to do something like this, but it's so much red tape you have to go through that we couldn't do it. Plus, I haven't spoken to my brother in a couple of years now, all right? And so imagine this. We were able to get my brother on the plan. And all we needed was a name, a birthday, the city, state, relationship, and nationality. Guess what? Now, should anything happen, we have that peace of mind and we're fine. How about my husband's sister? He loves his sister, but because of normal means of insurance, she could not get qualified. There's 4 qualifiers here. She didn't have any, it didn't knock her off the plan here. So guess what? Now she's covered on the plan. It's a beautiful thing. Now, once again, anyone from age 65 or younger can be on this plan, and regardless of kinship. You want to cover a neighbor, you want to help, give a gift to a friend or a friend's kid. I've seen someone cover even the ex-husband. You can do that. Now, in case you want to be able to put someone on a plan between the age 66 and 80, you can do that as well. But here's the deal. That has to be either a parent or a partner of the plan holder. And the maximum you can have on the plan that age is 2. You can do it. Has to be a parent or a partner. They honor step parents. They do honor adoptive parents, or even you don't have to be married as a partner, it can be a domestic partner, but it has to fall in that category. Now, what I love about the company, they will work with someone. When you see the rates, you'll see why would anyone ever fall into this position, but sometimes things get a little tough. So let's say there was a payment that you missed. Well, the plan will not cancel until after 3 consecutive months. Okay. So if maybe you missed a payment, you can catch up on it. It takes 3 consecutive months before the plan will cancel. I think that's pretty fair. Now, here's the thing. With insurance, you have plans of what they call non-medical. Once again, this is not insurance. We like to call it assurance. But once again, just like here, there's no medical exam, right? Well, with non-medical insurance plans, they not only raise the rates because it's a higher risk, in addition to that, they also have waiting periods. And the waiting period for the coverage to kick in is typically 2 years. You're going to see how a non-medical here, the waiting periods are much less and much reasonable. So starting on the 3rd business day, after enrollment of the first payment, this plan will cover any accident, violent death, or suicide. And I stress suicide, and I hate to do that, but we have seen the rise in suicide in the last number of years. And typically with insurance, you have to have the plan for 2 years in force before a person can do something like that. Here's after 3 business days. And it's not to encourage someone, but it is the fact that they will cover it as an accident after 3 business days. Now, when it comes to natural causes, It's 180 calendar days. That's 6 months. You decide which one sounds better. 6 months, 2 years. Much more reasonable, right? And why does the company put that in place? They're not getting any information to really find out if one is sick or not. So we're in the people business. People do lie. In addition to that, sometimes people don't even know that they're that sick, right? So the company just makes sure for natural causes, anything happens in the first 6 months, we won't cover it. But after that 6 month after that 6 months and a day, we will cover anything when it comes to natural death. Now, there's only 4 things that will disqualify a person from having this plan. This is at the time of application, meaning if these things occur while on the plan, they're still covered. But let's take this. At the time of application, you cannot have a terminal illness. You cannot have cancer at the time of application. Could have developed it after you're on the plan, or maybe had it before and you're in remission, that's fine. But if you have it at the time of application, no can do, cannot be on dialysis, and cannot have a brain tumor. Everything else, the plan will cover. I had a referral of someone who actually reached out and said, my sister has liver issues. She's not terminally ill and is not dealing with cancer. Guess what? Another plan will not cover her. This will. So everything else, congestive heart failure, Alzheimer's, dementia, HIV, there's a lot of things out there that people actually suffer from that the normal means of getting covered, there's not a plan that will touch them. Here, you can assure your family will be taken care of. Once again, it's not to replace insurance, but it's definitely a great way to add on some extra coverage. Now let's talk about how this plan can protect up to 7 people. You have standard rate states, which is 45 states, plus Washington, D.C., and also special rate states, Florida, the Carolinas, New York, California, and Puerto Rico. For the standard rate states, $900 for the year plus a one-time $30 enrollment fee, or $720 for the year, one-time $30 enrollment fee. Let's see what that is for the month. $75 per month, or $60 per month. Now, imagine this, less than $11 per month per person for 7 funerals to be covered. If I tell you, you won't find this anywhere to put this type of protection around your family that covers all those benefits I just went over for the very low price of either $75 per month for 7 people or 60. Now, guess what? Good news. If you choose 8 people, the company will allow you to even go up to 8. The only difference, it's an extra $25 per month. That will make the special rate states $85 per month and the standard rate states $100 per month if you choose. But most choose up to 7 at least, and that's between $60 to $75 per month. Now, if you're like someone who says, listen, well, Ronette, I don't have any kids, because remember, it has to be either parent or the spouse if you're between 66 and 80. Well, we have something for those 66 to 75. We have the silver plan. The same benefits. For the regular rate states, for one person, it's $50 a month. For the special rate, it's $45 per month. And if you have a spouse or someone even who's not related to you, you can add on an additional person between 0 to 75 for 75 or $60 a month with all of those benefits available to you as well. So we do have that option for people who are a little bit over 65. Now, let's take a look at these rates. We do have 1-member plans. There are sometimes people just want to cover themselves. That's fine. 2 members as well. The family plan starts from a person that's 3 members on the plan or above. Then we have the silver plan. So it's only 2 plans we have. We have the family plan and the silver plan. Okay. Now, here's the thing, but I'm sure we can all agree. The family plan has the most value, although they're all valuable, but the family plan can hold the most amount of people for a very low price. Now, who's this plan for? It's for you. Whether you don't have anything, I think we've already explained why this is a good option. If you have something, I'll call it gap coverage. Let me share with you why. Because whether you know it or not, insurance takes some time to get. Just because you have an insurance policy when you go to access or someone passes away and you access that policy, it's going to take, for my dad, it took almost 4 weeks. I've seen it take 3 months for people, right? What happens in the meantime? Well, that person who just passed away has to be taken care of. So you have a few options. You can surrender your policy over to the funeral home and they'll, they'll take their money and give you what's left, or pay cash, or sometimes you see GoFundMes or fundraisers. Sometimes you see fundraisers, doesn't mean that people don't have insurance. It just means they have to wait and hasn't came yet a lot of times. But now this is what I call gap coverage. Why? Because while you're waiting for the insurance to come, which is typically for your legacy anyway to continue, this plan takes care of the person that passed away. And it fills in that gap in the meantime until the insurance comes. So it's for everybody. How about church and community leaders? Definitely for them. Why? They're the first to get notice when someone passed away. They don't only just want prayers, they want money. Why? The church is where most people go when they want help. How about life insurance pre-need agents? I love talking to life insurance and pre-need agents. Why? Because they understand, because they have a book of business of people they can't help. It's perfect for them to add to their arsenal. Then we have veterans. I didn't know only active duty veterans get things paid for. Not veterans, active duty military, I should say. Veterans, on the other hand, they actually get the tombstone, the grave site, a casket, and a flag, and a 30-minute ceremony. Guess what the bulk of the charges come from? The funeral charges, the preparation of the body, the cremation, and all those things. That part is not paid for. And we've had testimonies of people who've talked about that. And so veterans really do need our help out there. How about remote in-home business owners? Those who are looking to work from home, having a side business on the side, sales professionals, funeral home directors. I think that's obvious. How about those rejected from insurance? Some people are not looking, once again, for $500,000 or $1 million policy. They just want something to not be a burden. This hits that all day long. Employees on the job. Guess what happens when people leave the job? They leave their life insurance behind. This allows them to have something so they can take with them. Not only that, if you're looking at this to become a consultant, perhaps, and that's what you're here for, actually, you can go to the employers now. We still have that avenue, that corporate avenue. And as long as they have at least 13 employees or more, we can offer this as an employee benefit. How about those released from jail? There's not a plan that will cover someone released from jail. This plan will not only cover a person that got released from jail, it will cover a person who's still incarcerated as long as they can prove they're going to be released within a year. So as you can see, this is a special type of plan that covers the masses of people out there. Now, how does our membership work? Very easy. Upon someone passing away, the first thing you want to do is call 911. The second call someone wants to make is to our 24/7 emergency line. Why? Because at that point, the company is going to take over and you have a team of experts at that time who's going to advocate on your behalf to set up everything so you can actually spend more time, and they're going to pay for the funeral services so that what you can do as the person being left behind is be with your family and let other people handle the business. Now you can guide and direct and be there also as well as far as direction, but let them handle the heavy load while you spend more time with your family. Because at that time, it's going to be an emotional time and the family's going to need you most. So let the experts do the work. That's a lovely thing. And that's what our membership provides. Now, if you were here and you were thinking about, well, who do I know? I know some people that, can actually benefit from this. If you're looking to get a plan yourself, maybe you know other people who need plans. I'm sure most people have someone around them at least who's not protected. And now you can offer this peace of mind to them. Well, our company has a program in place. As a matter of fact, I received that referral, and the person who sent the referral doesn't even know that now, because of that effective referral. What's an effective referral? Someone that enrolls. She's going to be able to get compensated by the company. It doesn't come out of my pocket. It goes direct. The company will reward that person. Why? Because they realize sharing is caring. And they also realize that word of mouth is the fastest way to get the word out about what we do. So they help. If she gives me, let's say, 9 more, a total of 10, that's $250. You may be in that same position that you know some people that you can share the information with. Now, be your family's hero. Be your family's hero. Get your Assure for Life family plan today. Join the movement. It's literally a movement where we are making sure we become a household name and get this word out. Now, as you're looking at this information, like I did when my friend shared it with me, the first thing I said is, wow, I can do this. You share this with other people. It's just an option. It's not necessary. You can become a customer here and that is it. But if you're too like me and said, listen, I want to be able to share this plan because I know a lot of people who can benefit. There's a consultant side that actually you can become a part of. And so become a consultant and we can go over that information and join our team today. Join our team today. We are trailblazing and really making sure that this plan gets out to the masses. What I love about our plan is recession proof. Tell me when this service will get old. See, it doesn't matter. Summer, spring, winter, fall, we always are relevant, right? Because this is something that everyone's going to need at some point in their life. Now, how about work on your own schedule? Part-time, full-time, sometime, right? I call this laptop lifestyle. All you need is Wi-Fi, a laptop and cell phone, and you are in business. How about no license or experience required? I have built agencies before in the insurance space. And one thing I can tell you about that, one of my biggest obstacles was helping people to get licensed, pass the license, making sure they get licensed. Here, no license required, no experience required. Yes, we will train. Our team does a personal training and the company does training as well. No team building required. If you want to go out there and just basically be the word of mouth and go out there and share with people you know and be that blessing, you can do that. If you want to build a team, you can, but it's not required to build a sales force. Bi-monthly commissions, the company pays direct deposit bi-monthly, strong residual income, even though it's not insurance, it pays very similar. And yes, you can build a residual income doing this. And then earn anywhere from 35 to 80% commissions, okay? Really strong. Now, how would one get started if you want to be a consultant? Well, the company has this in place. There's no website fee. There's no startup fee. There's no fee to get started. Really, the only thing the company requires is that you have the plan. Why? Because you want to become the product of the product. And it shows how much you believe in what you do. The last thing you want to do is go to see someone and share it with them. And then believe me, they will turn around and ask, do you have the plan? And you say, oh, no, I don't have it, but I want to sell you on it. Right? Does that really make sense? So they say, listen, protect your family first. Now, once you do that, you can enroll as a consultant, and then you want to attend the certification training and pass the exam. What is that? It takes about an hour or less. It's online, and you go through that process. It's a Q&A, and that's where you learn the details of the plan and then take the final exam. And believe me, you can do it within an hour. And then you're ready to start sharing the plan and making enrollments. And once again, only 10 minutes to enroll someone right over the laptop and cell phone. All right. Now, before I stop and answer any questions, I want you to hear testimony from someone that is a funeral director, because a lot of times, some of the questions we get is, has anyone used the plan? There's a ton of testimonies out there, but I want you to hear from her. Why? Because she actually can really attest to the services, especially with her being on the other side. She's not a member, she's a member now, but she's on the other side as the one who would have received the call from Assure for Life to set up the funeral arrangements. Okay, so I want you to hear from her so she can share with you about this amazing plan. And then we'll go ahead and stop for questions.
Hello, my name is Chantel Wright. I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I work at a local funeral home there in the area as a funeral apprentice, a funeral director apprentice. Our funeral home was approached with Assure for Life by a family back in November. and who had had a couple of deaths actually, like within a week and a half. Very, very tragic accident for the family. They came in and they had Assure for Life. It was something that I heard about, but I wasn't exactly sure how it worked. And I mean, let me be honest, I really was a little bit skeptical. I wasn't for sure if it was going to pay because I had never heard of it. But let me tell you, the team at Assure for Life was so, so friendly, so helpful. They sent us all of the information that we need, told me exactly what they would pay for. And as a result, we sent up the invoice to them, and the family was taken care of. They paid, and then paid again a week and a half later in the same family. I was completely amazed. Once this happened, I said, you know what? I need to know more about this company. I want to know more about this company. So I called up, I got some more information. And as a result, I became a consultant. I got a membership and a plan for my family. And I became a consultant because I believe in Assure for Life. I believe that Assure for Life helps families. I believe that Assure for Life is a game changer in the death care industry. This plan is phenomenal, and I believe that it can help millions of people. So I wanted to be a part of it. I am so glad that Assure for Life has crossed my path. I'm so glad that Assure for Life is here. So if you have any questions about Assure for Life, if you want to know, does Assure for Life pay? You know what? Yes, Assure for Life does pay. Assure for Life is for real. You can count on Assure for Life.
All right, all right. And you know what's really sad? She's talking about a family who lost two daughters in a tragic car accident at the same time. And what she talked about was that the fact they used the funeral services because one daughter died immediately, the other one died a week later after being in the hospital. But what's amazing, both got equally the same benefits. Okay, so as you can see, our plan is absolutely amazing. So here, like it says here, whether you're here taking a look at this for the first time or if this is a second or third time, I'm going to stop this so we can answer any questions you want to get back definitely to the consultant that invited you. We're changing lives here, and we're leaving a footprint and really helping people at the time where they're going to need us most and need it most. So just make sure that if you're looking at this, do not delay in getting your plan. Why? Because remember, even though it's not insurance, there's still 4 qualifiers. And God forbid, a person could have qualified for the plan and then get diagnosed and not being able to get the plan, and they were in front of this information. So don't delay. There's an urgency to get the plan to make sure that you can qualify, and you're only as qualify as healthy as you are today. All right, so let me go ahead and stop sharing, and we'll make sure we'll answer any questions.